First up, we have CP Gurnani, the CEO of Tech Mahindra. CP is popularly known as CP to his peer group, is the Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of Tech Mahindra, an accomplished business leader with extensive experience in international business development, startups and turnarounds, joint ventures, mergers and acquisitions. CP has led Tech Mahindra's transformation journey and one of the biggest turnarounds of Indian corporate history. CP has an entrepreneurial style of management that is a blend of enthusiasm and dynamism. He is also a past chairman of NASSCOM, India's key industry body for IT and ITES. A chemical engineering graduate from the National Institute of Technology, Rourkela, his passion in the field of education even resonates today. He is on the boards of Mahindra Ecole Centrale and is also the chairman of IIM Nagpur. CP's endeavors have won him numerous accolades. That includes Business Today's Best CEO Awards 2019 in the IT and ITES category. CP strongly believes in promoting child education. He is an active member of the Tech Mahindra Foundation, launched in 2007 to help the underprivileged children and 116,000 beneficiaries and counting. His talk today will be on entrepreneurial priorities in a post-COVID world. Please welcome CP, who is zooming in from India. CP, all yours.
Thank you, Rajiv. Again, it's an honor to be with such competitive audience. Clearly, the extreme tech challenge and the 52 winners by itself tells you that, Rajiv, you have done a good job of selecting the best from the best. I do want to congratulate the entire XTC team for the wonderful initiative. And I do believe that when Young spoke to me about a year ago about this wonderful initiative, that is the whole Samsung fund and how the power of innovators, the power of technology is being harnessed through these young and sometimes not so young entrepreneurs. But I do know, I started reading about you guys, and whether you are a Fresho Cards from India or a Hara from Indonesia, all I can say is salute. Salute that you understand the need of times and you also know how to create value with your ideas. I know that these 3 months have not been easy for anyone. Somebody gave me the statistics that 1/4 of the winners are from US, and somebody also gave me a statistics that 7.5 million American small businesses will face a temporary slowdown. Some will also face a permanent shutdown. And all this is for somebody saying, why me? Or somebody saying, this is owing to COVID. You know, where I live in India, there is a statistics, again, even more serious, which says 74% of small businesses, if you were not a Kirana store, Kirana store is a corner 7-Eleven, from where you go and buy your grocery and essentials. If you are not a Kirana store or a pharmaceutical store, again in India, we don't have the CVS pharmacies or the Walgreen pharmacies. We have a lot of these small mom and pop stores which are around the corner, and they will give you either OTC or drugs that your doctor has prescribed. 74% of businesses, if you are not in essential goods or in pharmacy, you will have an impact 74%. Now, does that mean that we are in bad times? But if you are an entrepreneur, you are not looking at the negative part. You are looking at how and what is positive in this difficult times. My request is, look at even the investments that are happening today. The investments that are happening today are my own chairman, Anand Mahindra, has invested, as of 3 days ago, $1 million in a company called HapRamp. It's a startup working on blockchain and social media. वो उठा लो, ये phone ले जाओ, दूर ले जाओ. Sorry, I'm just taking care of my phone. So this HapRamp is started by 5 students from a small city called Vadodara in India. And 3 days ago, they were able to attract investments. Same way, many of you have read that the tech-enabled logistics aggregator called ShipRocket raised 13 million in their Series C fund. And I know these amounts, to some they are small, to some they are big, to some they are probably a ray of hope. In India, we have a online beauty come omni-channel lifestyle retailer called Nykaa. The pronunciation is, I don't know what's an equivalent, but it's almost like, they have their own brands of lipsticks to shampoos, and they also retail the best of the world. Now, they just raised another round of capital, and they're valued at 1.2 billion. Now, to me, this example of a small 1 million investment, 13 million investment, or a 1.2 billion is an illustration that the businesses where the money is going. So let us follow the money. The money is going to an audience which is creating technology first business. So my hypothesis says, if your business is technology born business, and if you are able to create a business model which is, in a way, technology is as much as a driver or the problem solver, then you are in good hands. And I know there are disruptions happening. Who would know better? 52 of you and the partners that are there, almost all of you would notice those partners are disruptors. Our friend who is providing us the communication link out here, the Zoom, and who is the tech partner to XTC, what did they do? Didn't they change the way we will communicate the rest of our lives? Haven't they created an environment that a business conference software, which used to be called telepresence, if you recall, Cisco bought it for billions of dollars, you started getting that telepresence in the hands of a consumer. So the disruption is in front of us. How do you convert it into an opportunity? A lot depends on you. And I do know, if you choose to disrupt, if you choose to scale up, this is your day. This is your priority. And this is what will make you successful in this bumpy ride. So let's go forward. Think about it, and I'm going to take just one or two examples. In Mahindra's, we have invested in a company called Mahindra Logistics. And till yesterday, it was a B2B company. That means we would be transporting cars from one end to another. On the other end, we would probably pick up refrigerators and give it to the distribution center. What has COVID taught us? COVID has taught us the next stage of logistics is direct to consumer. How do you move logistics operations from the B2B model to modernizing the warehousing, and you are able to convert it into a UPS or a FedEx? Think about it. A FedEx and UPS did it for that small parcel, and we are now saying there is a gap in between the B2B model of transporting cars and a small parcel that a typical FedEx UPS caters to, and there is a whole distribution model, again enabled by technology and again enabled by contactless technology. You know, my bio does read that I am invested in education. But am I invested in an e-learning company? No. But the COVID has taught us that every school has gone on a digital platform, and every college has no choice but to be on a digital platform. For some of us, we have seen our children missing the fun of that party of graduation, a party of commencement. You know, your heart weeps for them, but they've replaced it with virtual commencement, virtual graduation. I know that this feeling of being locked in is not the best of the feelings. I know in some parts of the world it is called shelter, some parts of the world it is called lockdown, some parts of the world it probably just says is that play safe. You know, from where I am from my vantage point, Tech Mahindra today is 125,000 employees. We work in 90 countries. We serve 1,000 B2B customers. And all of these 1,000 customers are again solving a problem for a client. I had to step back and said, my 8% of my business is aerospace. That means I work with a Boeing or an Airbus in this world. When will that business come back? What do I do to replace that 8% of my business? 6% of my business is travel and hotels, hospitality. Will that business come back tomorrow? Maybe not. So some of us got together and said, there are probably hundreds of small businesses and they have no choice but to go online. They have no choice but to go distributor-led. They have no choice but the distributor model has to become online. So that means anything and everything that can go digital will have to go digital. So the pharmacies that I started talking to you about, we are now talking about India using it as a Y2K moment. That means in Y2K, for some of you who have seen that part of the journey, because it is 20 years ago, India actually became a software giant because of the opportunity in 1998 and 1999. I think the COVID moments means huge opportunities for a company like Tech Mahindra, work from home, making sure that the clean air is, given. Clean means virus and bacteria free. Air is circulated in every office. When you go inside an office, can I give you a health checkup? Can only the thermal scanning be replaced by a simple diagnostics so that other employees, their life is not in danger? Or it's not about life. It is also because you don't want to make others sick. So there is a model that we have developed: work from home, work at office. And incidentally, Rajiv, Samsung is one of my partners when I encourage people to come back to office, because your electronics group has given me a part of the solution, which means that anybody who comes within 2 meters of me, there will be a beep. So they are alerted, I am alerted. Let us keep a safe distance. So opportunities in COVID world and post-COVID world, they are for us. We need to create a proposition. I know that in this list, there are agri-tech startups. Some of you do realize that the whole supply chain, whole digital marketplace, all of this has to change, not only for countries like India, but about 1 billion people in Africa. How do you change it? Some of you have created organizations. I know there are 11 of you are creating agri-tech startups. There are people like Simu Solar from Tanzania, which are doing turnkey solar powered water pumping and lighting system that includes financing. So guys, I have to learn from you. As much as I like talking, I promise you, preparation for this meeting was everything that I had to reboot myself. I had to reimagine myself, because 52 of you, the partners here, are teaching me how to be successful. Now I know all of you are chasing your dreams. I can't be the one who comes and challenges you about risking everything, but maybe I'll put a break. Take calculated risk. The contribution that I can make to you is, let us build a responsible business. Let us not believe that if we don't work with coaching, with the help, and if we are able to listen as much as I want to listen, there is any other method of leapfrogging. So my request is, every day of your life you would be taking risks, but every day of your life, remember, a car has those 3 pedals. I know some of you would replace them by a no driver, autonomous driving, and some of you will replace it by, the speech assisted driving. But you still have those 3 functions: an acceleration, a clutch, and a brake. So my request is, if you want to be successful, please do take into account that while growth is your accelerator, the middle office, your solution may be the clutch, or the solution becomes the accelerator and growth becomes the clutch, but the brakes have to come from the finance team. The brake has to come from your legal team. The brakes have to come from your compliances team, because many of us do know that we have challenged our conventional thinking, We have changed the way we work. We are changing the way the world will behave. But all of us can be successful if we follow the principle of accelerator, clutch, and the brakes. And please do define it for yourself. And the more and the better you define it, you know that some curves you will negotiate at a very high speed, but some curves it is better to take a pause, and some curves it is better not to go there. You decide. All of us have learned to work on our instincts. Some of us work on our instincts and go and invest. We have invested in few companies, sometimes because it is the right thing to do. It's a waste to energy company. Sometimes we have done it because, world will buy or not buy will depend on the overall economy. But when it comes to children, they will always buy the best of the stuff available for their infants and kids. So each one of you will have your own theorem. And I only request is, there is magic in what you do. There are dreams that you are following, but do remember, most of us can learn by getting suitable mentors and suitable coaching. There will be few days which are a little tougher. I mean, I'm just taking that dialogue from that Finding Nemo, which says, just keep swimming. Why do I use this word? Some people call it persistence, some people call it prevail, and some of you will call it resilience. I only want each one of us, and particularly in India, we just had one or two scenarios where people, as I said, I started the dialogue by saying, you are entrepreneurs, you will have the priorities, you will do well in the COVID world and the post-COVID world, but there are some people who will be challenged. So my only request is, please keep your head above the water. Yes, there will be some businesses, there may be a challenge in continuity. And some of us will find opportunities. When Rajiv was introducing me, he referred to a company called Satyam that we acquired in 2009-10. What was that opportunity? 2009, when the Lehman crisis happened, in that Lehman crisis, there was one company which did become the Lehman Brothers of India. Some people called it an Enron of India. And that Enron of India, Tech Mahindra saw an opportunity. It was a setback. There was a huge amount of dissonance when we bought that company. Tech Mahindra stock fell about 40% in 15 days because people thought we were crazy. We were taking unnecessary risks. But it was again, we kept swimming. It was 100 other steps, renegotiating contracts, going to the customers and asking for advances, to increase liquidity, to pay salaries. Everything we wanted to do, ultimately we succeeded. That's why I'm talking to you today. My only request is, post-COVID, we will be tested in many different ways because certain markets will shrink. Certain investors will, shy away. But do keep your chin up, keep going. There are cheerleaders like me, there are supporters like me. Maybe there will be areas where we can fund you. Maybe there will be areas where we can support you. Maybe there are areas where we can partner with you. I'll give you an example. There is this company called Virsec, which is into cybersecurity. I mean, again, one of the very, very fine gentlemen called Atik Raza, he is the one who is the CEO of that company. He and I started discussing building cybersecurity practice. He has the ideas, he had the project, and I did not invest. But I said, we will create market together, Atik. We took performance-based warrants, and today I am his most successful partner, but I'm more proud that I am earned those warrants and that we are creating market together. So guys, some of you are in fitness and health. You know that the market size in digital health seems to have grown hundreds and thousands of percentages. Can we do something spectacular? Can we look at maybe reducing the cycle time to produce a drug? Can we reduce a cycle time to create a vaccine? Can I diagnose a lung disease by seeing a pattern and saying on a CT scan, on an X-ray, whether this person is 90% probability of getting COVID or has got COVID? The answer is yes to everything. Now, how do you market it? So think about it. All I know is you are strong people. You are actually mentally stronger than most of us. I am only requesting you is that do prioritize your time. You are going to make a lot of tough choices. Now, question of those tough choices are, how do you keep the business running during this so-called slowdown, lockdown, economic downturn, the life of stimulus money, or working and getting fatigued working at home? I again do believe that you will know your priorities. In India, there is a startup called CureFit. In almost the agility of that company, they wanted to be sure people are not coming to the gym. It's a well-funded fitness and mega health store, a kind of a venture. The way they digitalize themselves in a very, very short period, that from a health startup, from a gym startup, from a wellness startup to a food store startup, it became one of the largest health tech startups in India. So all we do know, some of you will be downsizing, some of you will be reorienting your business, some of you will decide where you need to put your resources to optimize. My daughter, who lives in San Francisco, I still remember her call on 10th of March, Dad, I think I have money to last for a year. What do you think I should do? And I said, darling, prioritize. You need money to grow your business now. You need money to, continue with your operations for the existing customers, or do you need to conserve cash and last more than a year? What is your confidence level? And well, we spoke for a little while, but the reality is she is one of those who prioritized to grow. She is the one who prioritized that, yes, it's a dangerous curve, it's a dangerous bend on the road, but I am going to accelerate. The choice is yours. All I'm requesting you guys is please take time to reflect and prioritize. Why am I again saying pivot, be the change? Businesses, nothing is static in this world. A friend of mine who runs one of the largest travel agency business on the net called Make My Trip, Deep Kalra. He pivoted his business. He said, I have all the tie-up with the hotels. Hotels have kitchens. They have staff. He pivoted his business to become a cloud kitchen while the airlines business was shut down. Tech Mahindra chose to change itself from a pure telco and technology supplier to become an enterprise business software. Another friend of mine who runs a WeWorks equivalent in India, in the B category towns, WeWorks was still in major towns. He chose to pivot his business to lease computers, laptops, and desks and chairs to his clients who are going to work from home, because they were used to getting retrofitted, fitted, WeWork kind of an atmosphere in a shared workplace. So the possibilities of pivot are there. They belong to you. It's up to you how you need to be relevant, how you would like to also adopt alternate resources. One of the teams that I would love to meet one of these days, I mean, they're just the team that I admire. It's a company called Sathi. Sathi means a companion or a friend in India. What they have done is they've created products from sustainable products, and they have created a sanitary pad company which is sustainable hygiene, and they epitomize what I have believed in all my life. That is that we owe it to the world to keep this society cleaner and better than what we inherited. Sadly, I don't think the challenge is going to be COVID-19. I think our climate is going to be a much bigger challenge. And when I salute companies like Sathi, because they will change the world, and they are changing the world by being profitable and also being able to adopt. A sanitary pad company does become a face mask company. A face mask company will pivot to become maybe a designer mask company. But the good news is people who are agile will continue to change and continue to pivot. I think, again, I've discussed this a little bit. When you follow the money, it also means, I mean, I belong to a community in India where each one of us, actually, my grandparents migrated from Pakistan and they had nothing in their pockets. So frugality, prudence, importance of money, stretching the money. And similarly, I know there are a lot of people from Israel. I'm a huge fan of Israel. A desert given to them today is the most fertile place in the world. A desert was given to them to build up a community. Today, that community is one of the most prosperous communities in the world. A desert is also an area from where the innovation, as if, is there in every individual, every university, every enterprise. Look at the startup ecosystem. Look at the number of companies that have gone public from Israel. It just tells me that in your heart, whether I am a Sindhi from Pakistan, that means my grandparents migrated from Pakistan, or you are a Jew from Israel, or you are from Ireland, all of us know that money matters. Technology matters, innovation matters, but if I can be the CFO of the company, that I am the chief innovator or the chief marketer or a chief technologist, I think I've learned one word, which is stretch every cent. So, sorry for being a preacher here, but I am preaching because I want you to be prepared for the stress testing revenue models. I want you to think of alternate business models. I want you to start imagining that a Zoom is not stupid when it gives you the software free of cost to be used at your houses, and that their valuation is not accidental. So guys, there is a method of redefining yourself financially, commercially, or investment models. Please look at them, because each one of them is like a toolkit to you. It will give you a shock absorption during this so-called crisis, and in a lot of ways, you will also be able to create working capital. You will be able to create a operation which will allow you to do scientific models. Suppose you don't get paid for 3 months. Suppose you defer the payment for 3 months. Like, I'll give you an example. In Tech Mahindra, somebody came to me and said, we want discounts because of this. I said, listen, either we do business or we don't do business. He said, but I have a trouble during these 3 months. I said, all right, why don't we take a moratorium for 3 months? And the customer was so happy, because to him, the business had taken shelter. And I, as a partner, was willing to take shelter with him. So they were very happy. We were happy that we are not damaging the business forever. We have taken a shelter. That means they will become better, we will become better, and let us build what I would call a model that will help both, and it is win-win. So again, I'm just on the 6 P's, and these 6 P's are now the 6th one, proficient. Why am I reminding some of you? Not that I'm trying to ask you to go and see the movie Intern. All I'm requesting you is that I have this gray hair, this is my photo, and the person that I'm touching and encouraging, I know this is social distancing days, but I am encouraging you, please put my hair. Nothing succeeds. You alone cannot succeed. What succeeds is time you make in skilling, the time you create in becoming a coach. There will always be a workforce around you. You'll never be a solopreneur. So if you are going to be working with a team, the team motivated is the differentiator. You, if you can engage your workforce, if you can empower your workforce, and if you can skill your workforce, you are creating a company which is going to last much longer, create more value, and in a lot of ways, and it's again a phenomena which you have to take a pause and reflect. Who were your coaches in life? Was the coach your younger brother, younger sister, or your sibling, or your children, or your parents? In Tech Mahindra, we realized that average age of the company was 28. My supervisory board average age was 60. I said to myself, I need to create a businesses for an average age of, let us say, 35. Who is coaching me? A 60-year-old person, or an average age of 60, or an average age of 25? We did one of the smartest things in the world, which is called reverse mentoring. We did one of the smartest things in the world, which is number two. Number one was reverse mentoring. That means this youngster is teaching the older one. The picture tells you the older one is teaching the younger one. But if assume the younger one is teaching the older one, that is what I call reverse mentoring. Second thing we did was that we created a shadow board where the average age is 28, 29. That shadow board is my real board. And why I call it a real board is because they challenge me on technology, they challenge me on processes, they challenge me on my quality certifications, they challenge me on analytics, they challenge me on my AI practices, they challenge me on my AR, VR practice or quant computing, they challenge me how to bring healthcare into every village, or they challenge me how to convert every $7 feature phone into a smartphone with an additional investment of maybe $20. So the guys, opportunities in post-COVID time, many. Let's work together in making sure we have the skilled people around us, because those people will change the way we will prosper. So it is not about peace. It is a motivation is we should prosper together. So let us prosper together. And why am I coming to the word prosper is because my next slide is about partnership. I gave you an example of VSEC where Tech Mahindra is partner. Think about it. A partnership between SAP and a cloud company takes away the data centers. Why do they do it? I spoke to Rajiv and I talked about Tech Mahindra and Samsung partnership. Tech Mahindra and Samsung, I am talking to Young San about 5G services. Why are we creating this partnership for 5G services? All of us know connected world, connected solutions. The game changer of tomorrow is going to be the connectivity, the connected solutions. My partnership is upon my strengths, which is services. As a chief strategy officer and advisor to Samsung board, Young will probably recommend Samsung focuses on products, we focus on services. Let's go and work together to roll out 5G for telcos, 5G for enterprises, 5G for you. So and again, guys, whether you choose to partner with Tech Mahindra or a Samsung or a Zoom or a US Department of State or a state of New Jersey or a state of Alabama or Make My Trip, partnering with the hotels, there is a room for partnership as long as you believe that we together will run a sprint. Some of us will run a marathon. Some of us who could not conduct a marathon will create some other method of taking strides. Nothing is going to remain in lockdown forever. It is partially open. It is going to reopen. And when we reopen completely, if we follow those 6 Ps, I think we will prosper together. I'm going to take, I'm conscious that I have taken a bit of extra time, but I do pray for all of you. Do prosper, do keep in touch, keep talking to me or my colleagues in Tech Mahindra. May the force be with you. And thank you again for inviting me to talk to you. Studying your companies is probably the best weekend work that I am taking. I will be studying all the 52 companies, and any one of you who is interested in partnering with Tech Mahindra, please do reach out to us.
Thank you so much, CP. Fantastic. In like 45 minutes, you covered such a wide array of topics. So that was amazing. Thank you for your insights and guidance. We did get a few questions during your talk, so I'll go into the questions. The first one we got from Rajendra from Fresho Carts Agri. His question is, how do you see Indian agricultural ecosystem's future and the role of agri startups?
So Rajendra, I don't know how much of communication you've been having with the government recently, government of India. The only reason I'm referring to, because I'm aware that quite a few countries are represented here. My first impression up till now is there is Mahindra Tractors, whose interest is in selling farm equipment and making sure that the farm equipments are used properly. So they set up what is called, I think it used to be called Smridhi. That means you could use farm equipments as a service. Then there is a Mahindra agriculture part, which looked at a gap that, the grape guys in Nashik needed to export grapes, and you would be surprised. The Nashik grapes get exported to China in a big, huge area. So they realized they need to work with the farmers. And so they've created 1,000 crore business. 1,000 crores in India, it means about $130 million business. Now, $130 million business and a profitable business, about 20%. Now, the point here is that these small experiments have taken place. What you guys are trying to do, I think, is got a huge potential.
Thank you, CP. We have the next question from Mohammed Farhani. His question is, what is the most important factor for companies to adopt a new sustainable technology post-COVID? What do they care most? Initial investment, meaning CapEx, ROI, introducing themselves as a sustainable company, or short-term returns? Will big companies look for more exclusivities in new technologies going their ways to be more competitive? So he's asked a series of questions.
I honestly don't know your business model, but I have seen sustainability as a profit business. And the reason I think sustainability is good to have and is an imperative for a business model. At least in companies which are publicly listed, it is evident that if they practice sustainability, and UN is encouraging it, most of you in XTC are aware of the, some of the founding directions that the Samsung Fund has established. So it is very, very clear, Mohammed Farhani, that saving energy, saving fossil fuels, or not using fossil fuels is not only a clean initiative, but I think it is a it's a profitable initiative, because I believe that in today's environment, uh, whether you are using nanotechnology or a microbiology, or you are using new initiatives, clean energy will always be a good business to be in and a nice business to be in.
One of the other questions being asked, CP, is because you gave, so to speak, an open platform for these companies to be in touch with Tech Mahindra. What is the best way to get in touch? Is it through Arnav or somebody else? Can you suggest, please?
No, Arunav is a good channel, and Arunav is on this call, and I don't know whether he has the speaking rights or not, but if you can do me a favor, Rajiv, and let Arunav's and my contact details be known to all the 52 companies. I'm not saying all 52 companies are good for us to partner, but I can always use my office to connect them to the right people in the Mahindra group, because some of them are probably, better suited for Mahindra group to sustain, to create a dialogue, like Mohammed Farhani's company. I mean, I know that the Mahindra Energy Group would be very, very keen to talk to Mohammed Farhani.
Okay, very good. So I think Arnav, you're on the call if you want to say anything. Otherwise, I'll be happy to share your contact as well as CP's contact on the XTC teams.
No, absolutely, Rajiv. That'll be a pleasure, and look forward to hearing from some of the companies in their interest as well.
So Arnav, if you don't mind, on the chat box, yeah, there you go. You gave your email address. So thank you very much. So if anybody needs to reach Tech Mahindra, please use Arnav as the contact point and channel, and his email is in the chat box. CP, as you were talking, there were so many different areas of opportunity and growth that you mentioned. Out of all these and the different companies you have worked with, can you take us into a favorite technology story that you had that always clicks in your mind as this is the path, the North Star to success?
Very difficult, but I've been part of this industry like a furniture for a long time. The first time I realized the world around us will change was when in India, they started what was called the railway computerization. For some of us who grew in India, know that the whole of India did not have many airports or aircrafts. And the whole of India traveled either on the rickety buses or in the trains. And particularly there was a mad rush during the vacation time, whether it was winter vacation or summer vacation. That a digital operating system, whatever it was called, VAX VMS, and a simple front end and a simple timetable application. I call it a timetable application is because, like in a school, even a kid can program the number of classes and the number of the teachers and which teacher will take which class and how many hours and whatever. That means a basic rule engine and a basic database. That application changed the way in India started consuming computerization. And this was early 80s. And I had joined that industry around that time. I looked at that convenience and people using that. And I, in my mind, knew this is a technology that will get consumed by every individual. Fast forward, this is 86. 94 in India, there is this, technology which is called, pager, but it was built around radio frequencies. Radio frequencies, every pager is. But in this particular case, the radio was FM radio. I mean, on which this technology was being built. And I still remember 94 Nokia coming to give me a presentation and saying they want to be a good number 2 to Motorola. And why? In 94, 95, the technology being used was pagers, and the radios that they were using, the best radios in the world were Motorola. They were the ones that every policeman carried all over the world. Fast forward in life, there came in a cell phone. I think it was about 95, that brick phone that all of us have seen. Some of us are lucky to have used it, and it also reflects on our age. And we were paying a call charges of those days when the dollar was about 35 rupees, we used to pay 16 rupees. That means 50 cents a minute or 40 cents a minute for an outgoing call and incoming call. I happened to travel to Hong Kong in that period, around the same time when the phones were introduced. And in front of a payphone, I saw a guy using that phone. And I said, listen, now I know that if I have to bet my future, like in 86, 87, I said, if I have to bet my future, I'll bet on computers. In 95, when I saw in front of a payphone, when the call charges were 40 cents a minute, 50 cents a minute, I said, if I have to bet my future, I am going to bet my future on mobile technology. So there are many more moments, but I'm only sharing what tickled me and where the penny dropped as far as I am concerned.
Well, that was fantastic, CP, and a wonderful way to wrap up your session. Thank you again for joining us and giving us your thoughts and wisdom and the openness for Tech Mahindra to have conversations with the startups from XTC. We look forward to the channel being open, and thank you again to Tech Mahindra for being a wonderful partner to the XTC.